All right, we're recording. This is book club meeting 4, reviewing chapter 4 and 5. So, did you guys have any questions about chapter 4?
I just want clarity.
Oh, go ahead.
All right, I just want a little clarity on chapter 4. Let's go back to, and I make sure I kind of put it in parentheses. Page 44.
Okay.
And this has to do with, I think we discussed this a little last week, but we weren't quite here yet. But it was about the credible identity witness. Okay. So my question, this is what confused me, because it says the credible identifying witness must personally know the document signer and also personally be known by the notary. And I think we question, well, how can the signer, really know the notary and the witness, I think we discussed that, but I'm like, I know I saw somewhere that they had to know both. And this is where I saw it. So I highlighted it this time. But that's if you're using only one witness. That witness has to know both you and the signer, you, the notary, and the signer.
Yes.
And
well, remember in the book, that's what it says. But when me and you had went over it last week, we looked in our actual state primer, and the state primer says that if you use one credible witness, this is for Florida, guys. So if you're in Florida, this applies to us. In Florida, if you use one credible witness, it says in the state primer that the witness must be known by the notary, I think is what it said.
Okay, so because this book, I guess, is just overall, then
this is on a more...
Yeah, certain things are not going to apply to every state then.
Yeah.
So I guess that particular, are we the only state that goes a little different from what's said in this book? Anybody else in other states that go differently?
In Washington, we need to have a credible witness who knows the signer and the notary as well.
Same like here then. Okay.
Yeah. I was surprised a little by that too, but
and that will be the reason why most people use two credible witnesses, because it does not apply to the credible to two. So if you're using the one, let me see here. Every credible identifying witness must personally know the document signer. If there's only one credible identifying witness to identify the signer, the witness must also be personally known by the notary. Okay, so then that does say this. So for one credible witness, the one credible witness must know the document signer and be personally known by the notary.
Right.
But if you use two,
they don't
witnesses need not be personally known to the notary, but must be identified through an acceptable identification document. So you're not going to run into that a lot. The only instance where you're going to run into needing to use a credible witness really is if you are working in nursing facilities, where you're working in assisted living homes. I went to an assisted living home, and the woman, she never renewed her driver's license because she doesn't go anywhere. She doesn't drive anymore. She never applied for a state ID, but she had her resident card for the facility that she was, not the facility, but the housing establishment that she was in, because it was assisted living, which means that they live with assistance. So it's not a facility that she lives in her own apartment, but she has people who visit her regularly to assist her with day-to-day tasks. So she had a bracelet and she had her resident card. So what happened was she did have a neighbor there who could identify her. And she had another person, I think it was maybe one of the workers or something like that. So in that case, I was able to identify her. But that was the only instance in a year that I've ever had to use a credible witness for a signer. So it's not something that you're going to come across regularly, if at all. But that was a good
I'm really happy that you brought that up because that's where I did some marketing the other day, was out to the ALFs and the senior housing.
Okay.
So I'm glad. That's what I was going to ask. Like, when do we really actually use credible witness? And then you're like, oh, the ALFs. Okay, that's just where I dropped a bunch of cards the other day. So, so as long as I have two, and then you can use the band and their resident ID card. Perfect. That helps a lot. That's good. Thank you.
No, you can't use those. You would need to use a credible witness. What I was saying was the only forms of ID that she had access to was her wristband and her resident ID card. That's all she had available to her. So I had to use a credible identifier witness too.
Okay, and then two don't need to be known to us, or one needs to be known to us.
With two witnesses, they don't need to know the signer or you, but you need to be able to identify them. So they have to have valid forms of identification to verify them.
I thought with two witnesses, they have to know the signer.
Not in Florida, anyway.
Oh,
so
really?
Let me correct myself. Not in Florida, they don't have to know the signer. Because sometimes when a person does have a witness, they'll just pick a random person. Like, for me, I'll bring my husband with me, and then I can bring another notary as well. And that can be their witness right there. But they'd have to sign an affidavit saying that they believe this person to be who they say they are. So, some people may not want to do that. Like, may not feel comfortable doing that. Like, nah, I don't want to do that. And that's perfectly fine. But like I said, that's in Florida. So don't, if it's something that you can't do where you are, definitely make sure you follow your state rules on that.
I'm a printer.
All right. Good deal. Now, it was something in here that I wanted to. And I thought I'd put a star by it. Identification documents, acceptable identification documents. Now, in other states, and this is outside of Florida, do you guys have a list of acceptable identification documents that you can accept?
Yes.
Okay. Because I know here in Florida, we have a nice list, and I keep it in my bag with me, so that I can show a person just in case, they ever say, well, what do you mean I can't use this? And I'm like, well, according to this list, this is what I can accept. So if you have any of this, we can move forward. If you don't have any of this, I can't move forward.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I have a nice little folder of things I keep in my notary bag.
For those of you who have websites, do you list that as well on the website? What's required?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Yep. I have that on my website. It's on the first page. How to prepare for a notary signing.
Well, I had another one.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
that's what it was. I found it.
Okay. Go ahead. While you thought of it, go ahead. I know what mine is. Go ahead.
Okay, so I had asked a question in 2 Facebook notary groups. Okay, because I wanted to know what everybody's stance was on doing additional verification when it comes to a person signing for someone. Okay,
I saw it.
Oh, you did? Okay, I didn't ask it. Yes, I didn't ask it in the new notary group because I didn't want to confuse new notaries. So I asked it in groups where I knew there were more seasoned notaries, and one of them being the Notary to Pro group because that's the signing agent training that I took. So I asked, do you require parents or legal guardians to produce that they are the parent or legal guardian of the minor prior to having them sign a document giving permission as a parent or legal guardian? And so a lot of notaries, which has me concerned, a lot of notaries said, no, our job is just to verify, it's just to witness signatures, verify the person and witness a signature. And so my question is, so you're telling me that you will let any adult come and sign saying that this person is their child, and you will not do any further verification? No, that's not our job. I'm like, okay. So I called the state, because when I get confusing messages like that, I really want to be absolutely sure. So I called the state and I said, is it against the laws or duties of my commission to verify that this person is signing in the capacity that they said they are? And so the woman told me that it's not against the rules. And if that's something that you have to do to be comfortable with notarizing a document, then you should do it. It's not against the law. She said, you don't have to do it. We don't have it stated anywhere that you have to, but it's not against the rules for you to do so. So that means that it is permitted. And so I'm like, okay, thank you. So a lot of notaries are like, well, I would get that in writing because you don't want to be acting as an attorney. How am I acting as an attorney?
Not acting as an attorney.
By requiring a parent to just show me that they are the parent of the child.
Now,
Try to bring a child from Canada into America or Mexico into America without proof. It ain't going to happen.
And you know, it's just like when you have, based on the chapter we're on, credible witnesses and attorney, power of attorney, just like they have to show proof that they're a power of attorney. Why not show proof that you are the parent or guardian of this child, underage child, for a tattoo? Some people were saying it's a responsibility of the business, but you're you're notarizing the document. You're notarized. But for me personally, I wouldn't feel comfortable signing or putting my stamp on there. And you're just telling me you're their parent and that's that, or guardian. Well, you have something that says you are the legal guardian. If so, then I'll do it. If not, I'll decline it personally.
That's your right. That's your right. If you don't feel comfortable, that is your right to decline. But it made me sad because I'm like, I understand, we just witnessing, but ethically, really, you would feel comfortable with signing a document for a minor, for an adult who may not be that minor's legal guardian or parent, that you would feel comfortable with that?
Not the way trafficking going on nowadays, no.
Yeah,
exactly. Thank you. So I just on Saturday I had to notarize a travel consent form for 2 minors who will be traveling with their uncle to Mexico. And when me and the mother talked, I asked her to have mom and dad present for the signing and to please bring the birth certificates and make sure they bring valid identification with them. And they complied. They had no problem with it. Me as a parent, that would make me feel comfortable with working with you. If I came to you and said that I need a document notarized and you didn't ask me for that information, I'm not going to work with you, because I'm a parent. I have 3 kids, 2 of which are my own, and I would not feel comfortable with anyone signing for any of them. Now, my son just so happened to sneak off and get a tattoo. Okay. And he had just somebody sign for him. And my husband called up there and told the tattoo artist to stop the tattoo. And so he had half a tattoo on his arm.
Oh, God.
I'm happy about that.
That's
so,
the best punishment ever.
Yeah. So we had him go a week like that, and then we approved for him to get it completed. But we explained to him that he's not allowed to do that again. He's about to be 18. You could have just waited. Your birthday's in November. You could have just waited till you were 18 and got the tattoo without having to sign it, right? So
did anybody sign the form for him, or the tattoo place just never had the consent form signed and notarized? Oh. Because my other question is, even if the parents are coming in, if you're requesting ID for the parents, with like all the trafficking and that's going on, you can't ID the kids.
Nope.
You know, even showing a birth certificate.
That's why, yeah.
You know, it's just
it is. It's a difficult situation. It is.
That's a hard thin line.
But with my situation for Saturday, I would not have felt comfortable signing a consent form for 2 minor children to travel outside of the country without making sure that these 2 adults are who they say they are. I just wouldn't.
They have to have, you know, a copy of the birth certificate if it's a minor to be able to enter the country. And so that's very
they had everything. They had everything in a nice little document holder. You know, they had the birth certificates, passports. So I felt confident that they were the parents, you know, because that's how I am. I have everything in a nice little document holder.
Me too.
So if you can't ID the children, wouldn't that, according to the chapter we're in, couldn't you ask the parents to leave to talk to the child? Or because they're minors, you wouldn't be able to do that to feel more comfortable, since we can't ID the children?
Kids could have a school ID.
Kids could have a school ID. You know, the really only thing you can really use is the birth certificate. You know, but because they're minors, we're not IDing them.
Yeah.
You know, we are IDing the adults, unfortunately. So, but the most important thing is, sorry guys, whenever I eat, I have to clear my throat constantly. It's very annoying. Just don't do a notarization that you don't feel comfortable with. If at any moment you feel uncomfortable with proceeding, don't do it. Do not do it. Where is my charger for my laptop? Now, another thing was someone has said on there, well, we're not supposed to check for power of attorney if they're signing attorney in fact too. And I'm like, what? Yeah. I'm like, huh? I'm like, it says that in our state primer. It says that in this notary book I'm reading. I'm like,
see, I do, and that's why I don't look at certain things. You got to bypass in the groups, really, because
you really do.
I'm new, and that would confuse the heck out of me. So I don't read certain things. I'll just go to the book and see what was written in our laws, because everyone has different answers. And then when I look at some of the answers, I'm like, and how long you been doing this?
Yeah, that made me very sad. It made me very sad to see so many people. I'm just witnessing signatures. I'm like, so you just out here it's just about the money, huh? That's really sad.
A lot of them is
really sad. It's really sad. It is, you know.
That encourages fraud, sadly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. When you just out here for the money, I've turned down people before because I knew that notarizing their document was not going to satisfy what it was they were trying to do. And I'll just point them in the right direction and they thank me, you know, because at the end of the day, it's not really all about the money. You know, what about her appreciating me and my honesty? You know, I built a relationship with her. So if she needs a notarization, she's going to feel comfortable coming back to me, knowing that I'm not going to do anything just to take her money.
Right.
You know, so I don't know. I'm just I have a conscience. So, you know, that's how I work. But I was reading here, there are some notary certificate wording that will specify for you to say that you verify that information. Like you should verify a person who is signing in any capacity other than an individual. Okay, if a person is signing as attorney, in fact, if a person is signing as a corporate officer or you know, any type of partner to a LLC, you know, you should verify the information, and it's going to specify so in the notarial certificate that you have to use for that when a person is signing in a different capacity other than themselves. So knowing when you need to use that type of certificate is important. And that's why, for example, when you're doing remote online notary, you have to ask the person, in what capacity are they signing today? Are they signing on behalf of themselves, on behalf of someone else, or on behalf of an entity?
That's actually what I'm reading right now. That's the page that I'm on.
Oh,
And
okay.
it looks like the only thing that's different in them is one says known to me to be the person, and the other one says known to me to be the person and officer. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And there are some
Now,
other ones.
there's one on there like document proof when you do have that, even the wording like really with the corporate officers, because they said you can't rely on just them giving you a business card or anything. Now,
Exactly.
would they come with a document saying that they're the corporate officer, like how the power of attorney and the partnership people would do?
They should be able to produce that. Usually that will be on a letterhead with the owner of the company, or representative of the company's signature and seal. And it would be on a letterhead.
It would be signed or sealed.
Yes, it will be signed, sealed, and on a letterhead. And unfortunately, that you can't really rely on that either. But
no,
I used to sign for my church's stuff for things, and I had to have it was a piece of paper that had given me permission from the whole deacons, like the group. So that was something that you had to show, like even to go to Costco, for crying out loud. And use
so what was it? It was on a letterhead, and they just wrote and signed it by. Okay.
It was a letterhead giving me specifically permission, and I had to show my ID and all that kind of stuff.
You could have took a letterhead from the office and do that yourself too, right?
That's why I said it's not really that reliable. But if that's what you have to go off of, you just have to specify that's what you had to go off of. That's why
you make a copy of that as a notary to say that that was
no. We're not allowed to make copies and keep copies of that. You're not allowed to do that, but you want to make good notation in your notary journal.
Okay.
That's going to cover you. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what I wanted to show you guys was, for example, I signed up for a Nextdoor business account so that I can advertise to my neighbors, because I didn't know, because I didn't read. And one of the neighbors brought it to my attention, like, we keep deleting your post. We would have thought by now you would have learned. And I'm like, excuse me? Like, who? I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't know that my posts were getting flagged and deleted. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. But I said, you really should be careful how you talk to people, especially strangers that you meet in the neighborhood, because you don't know what people are going through. Somebody see you on the street and pop you just for saying something that they didn't like, so you really should be careful how you talk to people, and I was like, but thank you for bringing this to my attention. I will look into it further. And he's like, well, the information is publicly available. And I'm like, okay. And I didn't read it, but thanks for bringing it to my attention, So I read up on it, and I saw that I needed to have a business account and that it is free. But I had to produce some documents to show that I am the owner of the business that I am going to be advertising under. So my LLC paperwork was not good enough.
Really?
And so this question that you had about being able to produce those documentary proof, it brought me to this. So I had to go online, and I had to purchase a certificate of status, a certificate of status. The certificate of status has the Department of State seal on it, and it has the Secretary of State signature. And this is what it looks like.
Is that the one that comes with your LLC when you get it? You can request a certificate?
You can request it, yes.
Yeah, you kind of pay extra for it, right?
Because I just got my LLC. I went ahead and paid for that, and the other one that was like $5. I didn't know what they were because I was confused by the description, but I figured I might need them for something one day.
Yeah, it was just $5. Whenever I renew, I never requested. When I first did my LLC, I requested it, but after that, I didn't have a reason to. So they wanted that. I'm like, oh. So the good thing was I paid for it, and they emailed it right to me. same day, so it didn't take no time to get. But when you are needing to verify that type of capacity that a person is signing in, this is what you're going to be looking for. So this is why I wanted to show you. You want to make sure that it has some type of corporate seal, the company owner signature, or person who can represent the owner signing, and you want to make sure it has some type of letterhead. And yes, these are reproducible, but that's what you have to go by. Unfortunately, when you're verifying that type of capacity. If you are verifying someone signing as an attorney, in fact, yes, you do want to see the power of attorney paperwork. Okay. Bump what they said in the other groups. No, yes, you
did
do.
You say
want
that was
to verify that.
$5?
Yeah, it was $5.
The certificate,
I thought that was 30.
yeah, it was $30 for that one. I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
if it
there's
was
one that's
$5
5 and one that's 30. That one you
Okay,
held up
let me
was
look.
like
Yeah,
No,
was
that one wasn't 30.
So
Let
they're
me
the
No?
let me
same
just
thing?
let me look at the name, okay? Because I may not have given you the right name for it. Let's see. Because I paid $5 for it. Otherwise, I would not have done that same day. I'm like, oh, you guys could have waited for that one. Let's see. Yeah, it's a certificate of status. A certified copy is $30. A certificate of status is $5.
Oh, that you held up was your status?
Yes,
But
this
it
is a
looks like
certificate
the
of
certified
status.
copy.
Mm,
Can you hold it up?
no.
Now you got me
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
look at mine.
Yeah, because I'm looking at mine. I'm like, it looks like mine.
And that was the $5 copy that you paid for, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And
The
that was what
certificate
you
of
needed.
status.
Yeah,
That was
see?
acceptable with your LLC documents, and then that certificate of status to get onto the next door site,
You
the
see
next
how they
door
look the same?
group.
Yes, because in order for you to start doing posts, they want you to verify your business. So that they don't have people on there. Yeah, Angelica, it looks like the same thing. They just don't want people to just be signing on saying they're a business and they're not really a business, because a lot of people do that. I had a person I saw in a group said that she listed herself. She goes by a business name, but she said she's never registered it and it's been fine for years. And I'm like, oh, okay.
So what's the difference between the $5 and the $35 one again?
I don't know. Well, you know what? Actually,
I can show you.
listen,
I
the
can show you.
certified copy. The certified
This is
copy.
one.
Okay, that's the certified copy.
And then this is the
Certificate of
one you
status.
just showed. Right.
Okay, good.
So the
Now you see
certified
the
copy
difference.
look like this. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. See, it looks totally different, Angelica, than what I
Okay.
have.
So what would be the purpose of the certified copy then, if you can just use the one that you
It's
have?
just for you to have. That's why it's optional. It's just if you just want something like that, then that's fine. And because you have a certified copy, you can use that instead of using this. You don't have to have both. Because on Carolyn, let me see your certified copy. Does it have a signature?
Yeah, it has the seal and the signature.
Okay, so then you wouldn't even need the certificate of status.
See, it has the
Yeah.
seal. And
Okay.
then the signature. And then this is just
Wow.
bigger.
Yeah. So you wouldn't need both, Angelica. You can do one or the other. I needed to get something same day, so I paid $5 and got the certificate of status.
Okay.
And it got emailed right to me. Now I don't know, Carolyn, with the certified copy, was that emailed to you or was that mailed to you?
No, all this was mailed to me because when I got my LLC, this is not for my notary business. I have another business, so it all was mailed to me because I did all three of them at the same time when I did the LLC.
Oh, okay.
So they sent it to me.
If they sent me the wrong thing, because I applied online, I did everything online, and I selected the $30 option, and I paid.
And they sent you that?
And that's what was emailed to me with my LLC paperwork.
Well, I think the certified copy has to be mailed to you, though. How long ago has that been?
I did everything on Wednesday and got it on Thursday morning.
Okay, when they mail things out to you, it can take up to 10 days to get to you. So has it been 10 days?
No, it hasn't.
Okay, so then I will wait. And then if you don't
See
get
if they
it,
mail
then
it.
contact, yeah. Because a certified copy, I don't think that's something that they can just email you. I think that because it's a certified copy, they mail it to you, but the certificate of status, that's not anything that they have to mail to you. That's why I got it the same day. Like, for example, I have I trademarked my business name, and the document that I got is the same document that Carolyn showed. Trying to find it. That's not anything that they email. Like, I don't think they can email that to you. They have to send you a hard copy.
Yeah.
Of that. And I can't find it. Oh, maybe it is right here. I don't want to spend too much time looking for it. I think I still have it in the folder. Yeah, because what I was doing with Nextdoor app, I sent them my LLC paperwork and I sent them my DBA because I have my notary business is a DBA of my LLC.
Yeah, I was
And they
debating to
said,
do that. You think that I was debating, should I do a DBA or just have a separate LLC for the notary?
well, it's too late now. Don't you got an LLC for both of them?
Well,
No, you can add,
I have my LLC since 2015. So
when you renew, you can change it. You can add it. When you renew your LLC yearly, you can add it because I just did. My LLC is like 2 years old, and it just came up for renewal, and I was able to add my DBA on it. But that's
No,
the only
you can add your DBA anytime. You can add that anytime. But
yeah,
I thought that you had LLC for both. Yeah, I wasn't gonna do an LLC. See, I'm not from here, guys. When I first became a business owner, I was in Detroit, Michigan, and I became a business owner in 2013. And LLCs up there are very affordable. Okay, I think it cost me $50 to establish, and then every year when you renew, it's $25. So you can have multiple LLCs there. Now here in Florida, I'm not paying $140 for each LLC. They crazy. So I went ahead and did a DBA of my LLC. And the only thing I don't like about it is whenever I'm trying to do something for just notary and not my LLC, I have to produce both documents because I can only do certain things under LLC, but I want to do it as my DBA name. So I have to produce both. So that's why I had to get this signed letter because Nextdoor was not having it. Like, okay, this is just registration paperwork. This is not what we want. I'm like, oh, this is what I have. This is what I got. Okay, I can't find it. I'm sure it'll come up when I'm not looking for it. So it's gonna just pop up in my face. But so moving on. Now what I see a lot of people get confused about is there anyone here from Texas? No?
I am. I'm from Texas.
Okay.
Me too.
Okay, so for Texas, your certificates, a lot of people get confused about known to me personally or on the oath of, and then they're like, what does that mean? So that goes with the proof on oath of affirmation. Their certificate is designed to say that they were verified on the oath of someone else. So when it says on oath of, then you're putting the person who swore that this person is who they say they are. But notaries always get confused with that part in their certificate. And I would just think like if it's your state certificate, then I would think that you would look more into it. Because for my state certificate, it's in our state laws, on the website. And it tells you, what everything is so that you understand how to fill in those blanks. So do they do that for Texas as well, or they omit that information?
So I'm still fairly new, but I was looking at the Texas Commission and they were talking about that. It's two different ways it can be worded. And because of the oath, if I'm understanding it correctly, you're saying it correctly. They're saying they're taking an oath that I am who I say I am when they're signing in front of the notary.
Okay. But people, I found it, guys. Some of the notaries get confused about how to fill that notary certificate in for that part. So this is my my service mark that I registered. I registered my business names. And this is what the certified copy looks like. The certified copy looks like what Carolyn showed. So this is something they mailed to me. This is not something you're going to get in the email because it has this watermark in the back. So they have to send you a hard copy of this, Angelica. So maybe that's why you haven't gotten it yet. They sent you what they could by email because it was quicker, and then they're mailing off the other thing that you pay for. But like I said, if you don't get it within 10 days, I definitely will reach out.
Okay. I do have a question.
Okay.
It says notaries in on page 46, notaries in states not requiring proof of a signer's status as an attorney, in fact, corporate officer, or other empowered signer, sometimes encounter certificates that do not, that do require such proof. Is that like, do we have to get proof of the signer's status in Florida?
Yes, you should be wanting to verify in the capacity that they are signing in. If they say that they're signing as an attorney in fact, if they said that they are signing as a partnership to a company, if they say that they're signing as a corporate officer, you should ask for verification of that information. Now, if the notary certificate does not ask for it, then you don't have to. But it is not against the rules for you to request it.
Okay, because I think we talked about that in chapter 2. Is that when we talked about the attorney
In fact, yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was the whole big discussion in the other groups that I was having. People were saying, well, we will be acting as an attorney if we are asking them for all of that information. We should only just be identifying them and just letting them sign. And that's a load of crap. Okay. Do your due diligence. Okay. You are a public official and you should be comfortable. You should feel now, if you're comfortable in just witnessing signatures, that's perfectly fine. That's on you. That's your commission. I don't really care. But with my commission, I'm not going to be notarizing documents and I'm not verifying that this person is of the capacity that they say that they are signing in. I'm not doing it. So to each his own. If it's not against the rules to do it, like when I called the state of Florida, they said it is not against the rules to do it. It is permitted and it's on you. It's on you what you want to perform, whether you want to perform that duty or not. So I'm like, okay. So I think that is it for chapter 4. You guys ready to move on to chapter 5?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. Yeah. Let's do it. All right. This one was really easy. Determining willingness and awareness. And I think, Diane, you said that you were the one who dropped off business cards to assisted living facilities. So this chapter is going to be really important for you. Making sure that your signer is willing and aware when they are signing documents.
Yeah, between this and the IDs, that's going to keep me busy.
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah. And you know what? People in the facility can do it. Can witness for them as long as they are not going to be benefiting monetarily from the transaction at hand. It's perfectly fine.
Okay.
I worked at a hospital and they wouldn't allow us to notarize or be witness for anything because we were on company time. So they never wanted us to do that when I worked at the hospital for years.
But were you a notary for them, or you just a notary on your own? Oh,
no,
okay.
I just recently became a notary. I worked for years as a rehab specialist in the hospital. So,
Okay.
Yeah,
I've heard that too, Jane. That hospital employees cannot be witnesses.
Yeah, it was
on anything for the hospital patients. Yep.
Okay.
Seems like in Florida, that's a big issue. I get a lot of people calling about the wills and they want to make them self-proving, and they're just like, I don't have any witnesses.
Yeah, because a lot of them retire here.
Right,
and their
right. Families are up
here.
north and they don't have anybody here. And I mean, it's hard for me to find people that can be a witness. I don't have a bunch of backup people that, are available when my schedule says I can go ahead and go out and do this for them. So I'm leaving it up to them. I'm not even going to open that can of worms with saying I'm going to search out witnesses. I don't want to.
I guess that's a good way to network with who's, I mean, with us knowing each other in this group and knowing where we are. If you had other notaries that were, I guess, around you, you guys can team up and say, hey, if I ever need a witness, would you be on hand? And vice versa. That's why I try to get in the groups to see who's in my area. I mean, I don't know if they think I'm on another agenda, but
no, and that
networking would be good, for that purpose.
It is. I had posted that in the group, telling other notaries to, you guys need to network and have some, backup notaries in your pocket. Like you should have names, location, and numbers of other notaries in your area. Because as much as you would love to be super notary and notarize for everybody, there's going to be times where you're not available. Right. You just cannot notarize for everybody. You just cannot. And it's not about, oh, they're going to steal my customer. You know how many people are in the world? You know how many people are in my immediate area? Me giving a notary one person is not going to kill me. That is not going to kill me at all. Okay. If anything, it's going to help you build a relationship with the customer, knowing that they called you, you couldn't do it, and you were able to give them somebody else as opposed to them having to get back online and do the footwork again. You know how frustrating that is? I would rather you tell me, okay, you're not available, but you know what? I do have someone else who is. Here's their phone number. Oh, sweet. Thank you. That's going to just save me the headache of having to look again.
Yeah.
There you go. You done build a relationship. And the notary that you're referring to may refer back to you when they need to. I mean, gosh, it's not hard. I hate when I see people on there. People are so competitive and they don't realize, you cannot do it all. You can't do it all. People, like, it's not. I mean, I don't know. I'm the type of person, money doesn't move me. It doesn't move me. I'm not going to leave with money. I'm not leaving this world with money. I'm going to make as much as I can, when I can. And as long as everybody who I'm taking care of is healthy, as long as I have a roof over my head, as long as I have everything I need, I'm good. I'm not a money hungry person. Like you have some people, that's all they care about is money. And at the end of it all, you work so hard to get it, and then you're too tired to spend it. And then you lose it. It's like that cannot be your motivating factor. You have got to have something else to motivate you other than money.
There's a group in Sarasota that we've kind of all met now. I think there's like 10 of us that are from like 4 or 5 surrounding towns. And so we're trying to get together and do lunch once a month.
All right. Cool. See, that's what
and
I'm
then
talking
in
about.
between do a Zoom. So we're becoming comrades, and that's what it is. There's newer people coming in, even though some of us are new. And it's like, look, there's enough to go around. We're all learning. Everybody's doing something different. Some people only do loan signings. They don't want anything to do with general work. So you're right. You've got to. But then there's just that few that are like, you're taking food out of their mouth. And I'm like, that's not what I'm doing. It's
exactly. It's not that serious. What's going to happen when you go on vacation? You're going to make your customers wait till you get back?
What if you're sick?
What if you're sick? Exactly. What if something happens and you had to leave the state for an emergency? Your customer has to be without a notary because you want to be selfish? No. have other people that they can reach out to.
We have
Like,
a group chat in
that's
Tampa too.
that's awesome. That's
Oh,
awesome,
yeah.
guys.
I
think
need
she
to be
might
on
be
the
an
West
admin
Coast.
in your group. Ayana? Am I saying her
Huh?
name right? Ayana? Is she an admin in your group?
Yes, she's one of my moderators.
Okay, yeah. She has a group chat for us in Tampa.
Yes, I know. She told me. So that's awesome. That's awesome. I was trying to put something like that together, but it's so goofy. So I posted in the group. I'm like, I'm asking people who live in the South Florida area, if they want to do like a meetup.
Did I miss
And
that?
I don't know, but
I
people
didn't
from
see
all
it.
over Florida responded. I'm like, guys, South Florida area. Well, what area is that? Like, I mean, if you Google it, it will tell you there are 3 counties that are considered in South Florida.
Yeah, Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County.
Yes. And I'm like, if you live in Lee County or whatever the other county was, if
Too
you
far.
don't mind traveling, that's fine. But I really was trying to just get with the people who were within like this nice 50-mile radius, because I know it's not going to be that far of a drive. And it's not that I'm
I'm not
trying
sure
to
if I
X people
responded.
out. I'm not trying to
But
X people out, but it's just, I wanted to network with people in my immediate area, because if I have a customer or someone who needs a notary, I'm not going to send them 4 hours away. I'm just not. And I'm sure you're not going to travel 4 hours for my customers. So not unless you do online, that's different. But I need to network with people that are in my immediate area, so that I can have those go-tos. Like you said, Diane, if I need a witness, what if my husband's not available to be a witness for me? I want to be able to call a notary. Hey, what are you doing? You want to make a quick $20? I need you to be a witness on one of my transactions, because that's what I charge people. If I have to provide a witness, it's $20. And they usually are fine with that because they have no other way to get a witness. So, I need to pay that person for being a witness, and then I have to make my money for my transaction. So,
Right.
it's
Now
not
that
going to
we've
be
all
worth
met
it.
and kind of bonded, now we do that. We have our own little group that we all text into, besides our
awesome.
Facebook group. And then we're like, hey, I got something on Saturday at 10 o'clock. Can somebody come to Sarasota and witness this?
That's
And so it was a little bit awkward at first before everybody kind of actually sat
That
down
is
at
so
Panera
cool.
and met each other. So now
Oh
it's
my
become
gosh.
a great.
what are you guys on Telegram?
That is so good.
Yeah,
Huh?
we're going to become a chapter now. We'll become the Southwest chapter. You can have
That's
South Florida,
awesome.
we'll have Southwest chapter. Yeah.
I have a few people in Washington like that too. We go out to coffee
Yeah.
so good, so good.
Okay, I got to get back on that post. I got to see who
Yeah,
responded.
You don't got any good people over there. You got no friends over there.
can you tag me in that post? Can you tag me in
Yes.
that post? Maybe
Yes.
you put it in there
Where are
before I
you?
join the group. I'm in Boynton Beach. I'm
Oh,
not
so
far
you're
from
not
you.
far.
You're
No, you're
Coconut
not.
Creek, right?
Yeah. I used to work
Yeah.
in Boynton Beach. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you're not far. Okay, cool. So absolutely, yeah, I gotta get some people together, and I'm not trying to. It's not. I don't want it to be like a huge group, And I kind of, when I talk to people, I'm kind of able to see who will be reliable and who won't be, because that's another thing that you need to factor into. It's not just about you networking with just any of the notaries in your group. It's about you being able to determine if they're going to be a reliable networking partner for you, because you have
Get
some
one
people
in
they
each
just
city.
exactly. You have people who would just exchange your information and then you never hear from them again. It's like, okay, like so
Well, and some people are
definitely.
working full-time jobs and only doing this at night, so their availability and flexibility is a lot different. So
Yeah, but if
we
they
have
exchange
that, but
info,
yeah, that's what we're
yeah, but if they exchange info with you and then they never get back with you, that's not really being reliable, right? Like, you guys got to link up at some point, text me, do something, so that I know that you're reliable, because I don't want to refer my customer to somebody who's not reliable, because that's going to make me look bad. Because when you got to remember that too, when you're referring people out, that means that you are putting your faith in them. Like, I am recommending this person because I think this person is going to do the same thing I would do for you, or maybe even more.
I found
So
your
absolutely.
post.
You found it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're
Well, I'm
welcome.
so
I
glad
don't
you
think I
guys
was.
will
I wasn't
connect
in the
now.
Yeah, I don't think I was in the group when you made this post. So I just did a search and I found the post. You did it back in June or June. Wait, June 24th, actually.
Yeah, you in the
Yeah.
group? Yeah.
Yeah, I was
And if you
at
can see,
9 in the morning.
a lot of people who are not in South Florida commented. So, so I have to
Yeah.
go through the posts and find people who are in
Well,
South Florida.
there was a lot in South Florida that did respond though.
Yeah, and I need
I would
to
have commented too. I would have got
reach out.
excited thinking about Miami. Not about being a witness. I've been like, ooh, Miami meetup.
Where are
Just
you,
the
Angelica? You said,
socialization by ourselves is great. You can sit there and talk for 3 hours with everybody, and then it's like, oh my gosh, it's been 3 hours.
yeah,
So
yeah.
That's like this
Absolutely.
book club. They said, oh,
It
it's
is.
going to be an hour, and 2 hours went by. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
just for one
Right.
chapter.
it's a bunch of women
Exactly.
chatting together. That's it.
Yeah. Now, in chapter 5 about disabled people, doing the signing, and legal competence and minors. What were you guys' take on that? We kind of talked about the minor part.
Mm-hmm.
Working in a hospital, that's very common. So you see that quite a bit,
Mm-hmm.
I got kind of have a heart for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there anybody else who has experience in hospitals, clinics, nursing homes? Not as a notary, just as a background, having it as a background. No? Just Jane and myself?
I only delivered there.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
Only delivery, but no.
That is
I work at a dialysis center, so I work with people as they slowly lose their minds. We watch them decline, but
That's sad.
yeah.
That's my career background. I went to school for medical assistant, and I started working in plasma donation centers, and then I started working in hospitals, and then I started working in dialysis clinics. So so that's my background. So being able to definitely work with people in all different walks of life. You see a little bit of everything working in those type of places. So that is another reason why it's so important for you to pay attention to paperwork, pay attention to verbs and what the notary certificates are asking of you, and not just filling them out and sign them like other notaries. Not just witness a signature. Okay, what? That doesn't make any sense. Like, yeah, I know that's what we're supposed to do, but you should read. You should read before you sign and seal anything, and you definitely want to make sure that your signer is willing and aware. Because you have some people who I heard. I think it was in one of the groups where a couple was being divorced, right? And the wife didn't really want to sign the paperwork, and the husband was upset. And she said, she just really didn't want to do it. And so the notaries stopped and said she wasn't going to do it. And the husband was pissed. He was just like, I just want to get this over with, and I don't know what type of document it was. But that's when you have to make that judgment call and say, this person is not willing. She's aware of what's going on, and she's definitely not willing. So you want to make sure that all of the three factors are into place. They're aware, they're willing.
Do you document if something was to happen that you were uncomfortable to sign, because they could come back at you later and say that you had done that under prejudice or something, when actually it was maybe a pressure situation and you weren't comfortable with the possible fraud. So where do you document? Because we don't really have a place in our journal for that, do we?
So any journal that you purchase, you want to make sure that it has an additional information section or a notes section. Okay. Not all of them do, but there are a lot that do. So you want to make sure that when you're shopping around for your journal, just make sure that you have one that has those spaces so that you can notate that type of information. You always want to, anything that stands out or is significant to one of your transactions, you definitely want to jot it down because you're not going to remember if somebody comes back and asks you. So you want to at least be able to jot it down, go back to that time, like, oh, yeah, okay, let me see. Oh, yep, here, this date. Oh, yeah, and I remember this, and this happened. So yeah.
Okay, so even though if we don't notarize, we can still write in our journal about something that we decided against or something.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, it wouldn't, like you said, it wouldn't be a a real entry, but you could still, because first of all, before you even continue with the transaction, the first thing you're doing is having them fill out your journal. So if during the notarization you have to decline, you have that information in your journal already. Because if you are going through with the transaction, they haven't filled out the journal yet, you think they're going to fill it out after you tell them you're not continuing on? No. So journal first, then transaction.
I just had my first transaction this week.
All right. All right. Congratulations. That's always exciting.
Congrats. I'm waiting on my stamp. I did get my certificate. But
all right. Came in the mail.
Exciting.
Yay.
Yay.
I have not done my first one yet, but today our leasing agent did ask me if I could do her title for her next weekend because she's going to be moving and she wants to sell her car. And I was like, I'm gonna have to read some things, but sure. So I think I'll probably just do it for free.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Get the experience.
Like practice, and I know her, So I think it'll be awesome that way. Because I'm be super nervous. This is my first time, so am I supposed to? Because we live here, so it's not like I have to travel anywhere for anything. And it's only $10. So.
Cool.
I'm nervous.
Oh,
Were
don't
you
be nervous
when you did your first one?
No.
Come on, Virgil, everybody's nervous their first one or two, okay? Every time it's a new document, I know that we don't make the documents, we don't do this, but I'm just like, oh, I got to see what one looks like. I have people in the group and it's like, you don't have to know what the document is. No, for my own self, I don't want to just go to this person's house and them say, here's my will. And I'm like, oh, this is great. I've never seen what a will looks like. So let me look through, even though I know what I'm looking for. So, I like to actually just get a brief. I cheat online. I look at stuff just so I know what I'm looking for. But can I kind of tie the two chapters together because of, I know the awareness is all focused on making sure that they are aware, that the doctor can say that they're aware. And if they can answer questions, they're aware. But if they're not aware, then I can bring in the two credible witnesses, because what I'm worried about and what I deal with is a lot of the older people that aren't with it, but they do have to make a will or do anything. So if they're not with it, there's nothing that can be done.
Nothing.
No. The only exception is if they have already appointed someone as their attorney to sign for them. And then in that instance, you will want to see that the proof of that document. And as long as you have the proof, then you can move forward. If there's no proof, if the person is not aware, then you should not be continuing on with the transaction, no matter what they say.
Even in the hospital,
everything would just go to probate and they would have to fight for it at the end of that then.
Yeah, but a lot of times if they're not with it, the court will the court will intervene. They have to somebody has to go to court and go through that process, which is painful, very obnoxious. But somebody has to get that information because there's a lot of stuff that needs to be signed for people who are demented or not
So
with
does
it.
that become like their attorney in fact, or just like a surrogate type or guardianship? And then as long as I could see documentation that they had it, then they would be able to sign in lieu of the signer and still be legal.
They usually have two. There's a medical power of attorney. I mean, in Washington.
Yeah, that too. Yep.
Medical power of attorney, and then a power of attorney for financial reasons as well. So separate documents in Washington.
I know I always teach the patients to get medical power of attorneys and things, but I just never knew what the whole relevance behind it, like where it actually stood. It was in the book that said that they should have this. So that was, I'm like, well, everybody needs that. But
yes, you definitely want them to present proof of the document stating that they can sign in the capacity for that person.
And something like this made me, even me, who's I'm of sound mind, but at now find me a power of attorney and assign it from now. So if anything ever happens, that's already in place. And I tell a lot of people like that, that know me personally, I'm like, do you even have a will? Do you have a power of attorney? Things like that. What if something happened and you're in a vegetated state? Who's gonna say what for you? And I'm like, that's such a must right now. I mean, we live in Florida. Look at the condo that just collapsed. You think it's gosh, what those families are gonna go through right now, it's just things like that make you really think. You do need these things on hand. And a lot of people do not.
And Diane, if you want to look at copies of different power of attorney documents, because there are a few of them. You have general, you have limited, you have the medical. So if you want to look at copies of those online, they have them online. eForms is really good to look at. They have those online.
Okay.
I downloaded a few of them too, just to look them over.
So much as
well, good. Thank you, Carolyn, because I made that comment in one group, and my gosh, the people that were like piranhas that came out. Why would you ask about this? And it's not your business, and it's not this. And I'm like, you know what? Bye-bye, group. I don't need your crap.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to ask a question, and that's it. But no, this was great.
We're not to be concerned. We're not to be concerned with what the document is for, but you just want to make sure that it has everything that's supposed to have. You don't.
For me, I think it's more so I don't miss a signature, because I do a lot of loan signings. And I go through and I go through and I go through, and you always find that little sneaky snake that's in there. And I have that fear, because I haven't done enough general notary work, that there's not 18 notarizations in a will, but I want to go through and make sure that I don't miss anything. So
you want to go through and make sure there's no blanks.
Exactly.
They're not supposed to be blank. That's what you're looking for, because you don't want to notarize an incomplete document. Because once the document is sealed and signed by you, there are to be no alterations.
We had patients that would be often 18 years old, and none of that information was, always, put down. So I always tell parents, if you have children that are getting to that age, go ahead and get that done so that you can be their power of attorney, especially if they go in the military or something, because if there's an accident, like a motorcycle, a skiing accident, someone's injured, they can't even talk to you legally.
Nope.
And it is horrifying as a parent. So as long as they don't have a significant other, get that done.
Braden, turn my office light on.
We've got 2 new club members there.
There's some cuties.
Hey guys, did you read chapter 4?
Turn my office light on. Turn the office light on right there. Yes. All right, now turn the hallway light off.
Okay, well, guys, this was great. I'm getting overrun, so this.
We're actually done with reviewing the chapters. We're gonna go ahead and go to the Kahoot game. Diane, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll see you next time. We're gonna be reviewing chapter 6 and 7 the next week. Same time, same day. Okay.
Thank you all. I appreciate it. Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right, guys. Let's go ahead and log into the Kahoot. Remember, you're going to need your cell phone for this. Let me go ahead and log in. Did anybody have any questions about chapter 4 or 5 before I start the game? Any more questions anyway?
Nope.
Nope.
So where do you find the game?
Okay, so you're going to go on your phone and you're going to go online and you're going to type in kahoot.it. And then I'm going to share my screen and you're going to input the code that's going to show you, I think it's a game pin, so that you can get into the game.
Oh.
All right, let's see. I'm logging into it now, and then I'm going to share my screen. Okay, here we go. Start sharing. Oh, wait. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
All right, guys, go ahead and type in the game pin and sign into the game. Now we're going to be doing questions for both chapters, so this is it's a little longer than usual. 16 questions, I think. I got 3 people so far. 4, all right, 5. And the game pin is right here, guys. 914-8737 for those of you who need it. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, is that everybody? Once I start, I don't know if you're going to be able to get into it. So let me know if you're still trying to get in there. Let me make sure nobody's in the chat here. Okay, I'm about to start the game. Oh, key. Okay, there we go. All right, guys, I'm getting started. And we got 30 seconds for this. The most reliable basis for identifying a signer is primary identification documents, supplemental identification documents, the notary's personal knowledge, or a personally known credible identifying witness. You're going to pick the color of the answer that you choose from the screen here on your phone. All right. The answer is the notary's personal knowledge. All right. And the score is based on how fast you answer. So even though everybody answered, it's how fast you answer, guys. Number 2, identification of a signer should not be based on a U.S. passport, state non-driver's ID, social security card, or military ID. Identification of a signer should not be based on that. Oh, everybody got it right. Social security card. All right. All right. Awesome. Satisfactory evidence means identification based on either personal knowledge or identification documents, both personal knowledge and identification documents, either identification documents or a credible identifying witness, both identification documents and a credible identifying witness. All right, the answer is either identification documents or a credible identifying witness. That's what satisfactory of evidence identification means. All right, next. An acceptable identification document contains a signature but no photo, can safely be relied on by a notary unfamiliar with its format, is government issued and has a photo, description, and signature, is the only permitted method to identify a document signer. Yep, you guys got it. I think this was an easy one. It's government issued and has a photo, description, and signature. All right, Angelica. A notary must verify a signer's status as corporate officer when the certificate wording so requires for every signing by a corporate officer, only when the notary is not an employee of the corporation, at no time since this is not a notary's duty, which is what everybody said in the notary groups. At no time, we witness signatures only. Yeesh. Correct. When the certificate wording so requires. All right. Personal knowledge of identity would most safely be based on, there's a typo, a signer's introduction by a notary's unsworn trusted friend, the fact that a signer is a good business client with excellent credit, a signer and notary having two casual acquaintances in common, a signer's repeated interaction with the notary over many years. All right, good job, guys. A signer's repeated interaction with the notary over many years. To identify a signer, a credible identifying witness must also be named in the document, swear or affirm that the signer has the identity claimed, not have served as a witness for another signer, be a blood relative of the signer. All right, guys, you are on it tonight. Swear or affirm that the signer has the identity claimed. Why is a birth certificate all but worthless as an ID document? Not listed as an acceptable ID, has no current identifying description of the signer, may easily be obtained by another individual, is allowed when no ID is present. Correct. Has no current identifying description of the signer. It doesn't have the signer's signature, a photo. It has, I think some of them do have weight, but they don't weigh that anymore.
I totally hit the wrong thing, and I don't
Oh.
God. My screen says incorrect.
Oh, dang. Notaries must screen signers for willingness only in certain very specific situations. Only when a document affects the signer's personal affairs, to assure the signing is without duress or undue influence, to be certain the signer is willing to pay the notarial fee. I got a bunch of typos, guys. Sorry about that.
There you go. Not to be willing to pay the fee.
All right, this is correct. To assure the signing is without duress or undue influence. All right. Keep moving on up. Determining a signer's awareness is a notarial duty clearly spelled out in state law. Is not difficult for the notary in most cases. Is a difficult task for notaries in most cases. Should not be tried unless a physician or attorney is present. Is not difficult for the notary in most cases. Remember, because most times you're going to be having people call you to do the notary, so they're clearly aware of what's going on. But in some cases where, if you're going to be in an assisted living facility or hospital, you will most likely run across that. All righty, almost done. A signer's physical or intellectual disability prevents notarization in all cases, may require special procedures to complete the notarization, is of no concern to the notary, means that the individual is unaware in all cases. May require some special procedures to complete the notarization. For example, if a person, cannot sign their name, but they can sign using a mark, that's going to be in another chapter, but that is a special circumstance that you can do. People can't sign with a mark. There would be little doubt about the awareness of a signer who cannot speak understandably, who is hospitalized and drifting in and out of consciousness, who is unable to speak clearly and cannot stand without assistance, who can read and write understandably. Absolutely. There is no doubt that the signer is aware who can read and write understandably. The most important factor in determining awareness is the signer's ability to communicate with the notary, the signer's ability to write out a signature, the signer's ability to see the notary, the signer's ability to hear the notary. Correct. The signer's ability to communicate with the notary. That is the most important factor of determining they are aware. All right, CC. Moved on up. A notary's strong doubt about a person's awareness should always give way to the contrary opinion of a doctor. Always give way to the contrary opinion of an attorney. Not be relevant if the person is able to sign. Take precedence over the opinion of any other individual. Correct. Nobody can tell you, oh no, they're fine. You can sign, have them sign. No, not gonna do it. Or they were okay this morning. It must just be because you here. No. Generally, minors must have a parent or guardian sign for them. Are persons under the age of 16 are considered legally competent to handle their affairs, must never enter into contractual agreements. Correct. No matter what, must have a parent or guardian sign for them until they are of age to do it themselves. Legally, anyway. True or false? The best way for a notary to determine awareness is to have a conversation to judge if signer communicates understandably. Correct. This is true. If you are in any doubt of a person's awareness, just have a simple conversation with them. If they can understand and hold a conversation with you, most likely they are aware.
What the heck? I feel like my tablet is like against me.
Oh no!
That was the second time that I swore I was tapping something and I tapped something else. Jeez.
Oh dang!
How
Go
far you
CC.
dropped me?
Go
Oh,
CC.
no.
Hey, how do you pronounce your name? Is it Q or Qui? Is she there? Can you
I've
hear
been
me?
calling it a key
It's
this whole
key.
time.
Yeah,
It's
Okay.
Q.
Yes.
Somebody finally beat you.
I hit the wrong thing. I was like Angelica hit the wrong thing when I was trying to move over.
My phone constantly times out all the time. I don't know
Oh
why.
dang!
It
I found
constantly
myself pressing the
it just
screen
times
with the.
out.
I'm like, oh, wrong thing.
Yeah.
All right.
looked
Well, looks like we're ready to move on to the next chapter. So, like I said, guys, we're gonna be doing chapter 6 and 7 next week. And that's gonna those chapters are gonna be real cool because it's gonna start getting into the journal, like what we were just talking about, and your certificate and seal. So I'm really excited to go over this because people usually have a lot of questions regarding the journal and certificates. So definitely looking forward to that. And then we'll finally be going to Notary Acts. So we're finishing up part 2. So it's 6 and 7. It's kind of thick. Oh goodness. Doing a lot of reading on the weekend. So guys, it was fun as usual. I love doing the cahoots with you guys. I feel like it just brings us up another level and lets us get loose and have fun. Did you guys have any other questions regarding chapter 4 or 5? No?
Nope. But the little book club kind of give clarity on a lot of things. So I'm glad you put this together too. I mean, sometimes I'll read it twice just the same. You know, I'll read it over again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that helps. I think it helps when you read something and sometimes you just need a little clarity. It's like you understand what it's saying, but it's like I just need a little clarity, you know. And even if you already thought it, sometimes it just sounds better come from somebody else. You know, it's like, oh yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, yeah.
Or from those who are already doing it, like most of you guys have already done a signing, you know. So for me, it's like, okay, good. Now I know this. You know, while I'm waiting on my stamp, this is like the best thing I could do right now is to go through this with everybody.
Okay, and hopefully this will make you guys a little bit more comfortable starting out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go, and we will be back here again. Oh, you know what? I heard in the beginning someone asked why do I use Zoho and not Zoom? I have a paid subscription with Zoho. So I thought it would be easier for me to use something I already pay for versus me using something that I don't already pay for. Like with Zoom, you know, you can only have so many people and you can only be on there for so long. Like, you know, there's no way I could be on here with you guys for 2 or 3 hours on Zoom. I think they have a limit to how long you could be on there under a free account.
Yeah.
And then Google Meet also has video for you to do that, but I think you get free for 1 hour, you know, and we're always on here for more than an hour. So it's just easier for me to use what I already pay for. So that's why I use Zoho. All right, guys. I'll see you next week, Tuesday, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, chapter 6 and 7. All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Have a good night.